What's up guys, it's me, and today with the help of my grandma right here, we are going to make chocolate chip cookies. This is my grandma's recipe, and well, I don't know if she actually invented it, but well, she taught it to me and it's really good, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to do it. Alright, so first you need to get a mixing bowl and add 1 cup of softened butter. We just did this ahead of time so that it would have time to soften. We put the 1 cup in there already. Then add in 1 cup of sugar to your bowl. Alright, next you want to add in 1 cup of brown sugar, but I want to make sure you have this packed down. Like, just make sure you pack it down like that so that it's nice and firm in there, and then you'll see that you'll actually add a lot more. And then, so just dump that in there. And it wasn't quite to the top, so I'm just going to put another spoonful in. Alright. Next, after you add the sugars and the butter, you just have to cream it all together with a spoon. And you could probably use beaters for this, but I'm just going to use a spoon. Alright, so this looks creamed together enough. You should have something that looks like this, just so you guys can see. And I said you could use beaters, and you can, but the cookies, they just turn out a little differently, but it's fine. Next, you want to put in, after you cream them, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Hope you can see me there. I think you did. Alright, next you want to crack in 2 eggs, but just in case you're not the greatest egg cracker, it's probably a good idea to crack them into a bowl first, just to make sure no shells get in. I think I did a pretty good job. I don't see any shells in there, so yeah, I think we're good on that one. There. Probably could have cracked those into the bowl, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't get any shells. And if you're really experienced with egg cracking, then you could probably just do it right in the bowl. And of course, add them in. And after you stir in the eggs, or not stir, when you put them in, you just want to stir it all together. Once again, make sure it's all stirred in there real good, because you don't want it to be all nasty and eggy at different parts. Alright, so when you finish mixing it again, it should look like this. Fairly runny, but not too runny. Yeah. Next, you want to get a separate bowl. Make sure it's in a separate bowl. And now we're going to do our dry ingredients. So you want to do 2 cups of flour. And cup 2. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. You probably just heard my grandma say mention that. And what she was talking about is never measure the salt over your bowl, because if you accidentally drop it and dump it all in, it's ruined. Like if you did that with sugar, they'd be quite sweet but not ruined. Just a heads up. And after you add your 1 teaspoon of salt, you just want to get a spoon and mix all of the dry ingredients that we've had so far together. This probably shouldn't take too long or be too hard, but yeah, this is already plain mixed. So not nearly as long as the wet ingredients. Then after you finish mixing those dry ingredients, you want to dump them into the mixing bowl you used originally with the wet ingredients. Ooh, okay, I don't know what that was, but then you want to mix it up again. Mix the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. Make sure they're well combined, because you do not want to have a bunch of dry stuff all over the place or wet stuff. Alright, so when you think you're finished mixing, there's going to be a bunch of stuff on the spoon, and just in case something is still in there when you mix, just clean it off. Maybe mix it up a little more. Okay, so now when you mix them for good, it should look just like this. Okay, so once you mix everything in, you want to get 2 cups of quick or instant oatmeal. This is not instant actually, sorry. This is what it should look like, just the quick oatmeal. It probably doesn't have to be Quaker, but yeah. So just add them in, and you know, it's kind of unusual for you to see oats in a cookie recipe. So I'm going to have my grandma here explain why,
Oh, I just put chocolate chips in my mouth.
Perfect. So explain why we're putting oats in a chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Because that's the recipe that I like.
Okay, what do the oats like do?
They make it taste good.
Okay. And then after you add the oats, of course, stir them in before you add anything else. Make sure you mix in the oats pretty well. It should end up looking like this. You know, you can kind of see the lumpy oats, but you know, you shouldn't be able to see a whole ton of them. Just make it a little rocky, if you will. So next, the recipe calls for 12 ounces of chocolate chips, and this is a 12-ounce bag. But as you saw, my grandma was eating a few because, you know, there's too many in the bag. Not really. So the cook has to eat some of them. But then, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. You know, it's chocolate chips, people. So then just kind of pour them in. And don't spill one. And then an optional step is 1 cup of pecans. Now, some people are allergic to nuts, or you may just not like them. So this is optional. I think it's good. My grandma thinks it's good. Everyone thinks it's good. So we're just going to add them in. Alright, so that is all of the ingredients. So now you just want to give it one final mix. Look at all of those delicious chocolate chips. These are going to be some good cookies. So just mix them all up, like I said. Hey, I want to learn how to make cookies too. Teach me. Sorry, but none for you.
Grandma's kitty. He's a good boy. Yes.
I got that on video.
You're not supposed to do that.
Well, I'm still going to put it in.
All right.
If you'll let me.
I'll let you.
Alright, so now my grandma's going to grease a cookie sheet. Just like that. And then you can kind of just use that to even it up a little bit. Okay, so, whoops, don't do that. I think that's good. And then, so get like this much cookie dough, and then you want to put it on this tray that we made earlier. And just put it like that. And then, yeah, just kind of, you'll kind of figure out the size. Okay, so once you finish doing that, this is what it should look like. They should all try to make them relatively the same size, because you're gonna be cooking them all at once, and if they're not the same size, the big ones will get overdone and the small ones will get overcooked. And yeah, just kind of make sure they're all kind of like that, the same size. That's what it should look like. All right, so then you wanna now make sure before you preheated your oven to 375 degrees. Now it's time to stick them in there. Now make sure you don't have your oven open too long, because then they can, you know, it'll lose its temperature. So don't burn yourself, just kind of slide them in there. And then, Grandma, how long do we want to bake this?
Set the timer for 10 minutes.
And how do we set the timer?
Oh, here, I've got my separate timer right up there.
So then, just set your timer for 10 minutes. And then we'll check on them in about 10 minutes. If you want your cookies crispy, bake them for longer. If you want them a little chewy, do it for less. But we're gonna do 10 minutes, and we can always do it later. Don't overcook them. Always set the timer for like as little as possible, because you can always put them back in. But with cookies, it's really important that you do not cook them too long. Like 20 seconds can make a big difference. So yep, we're just gonna go ahead and check on these in a little bit. So you can either bake them all at once, but if you have any dough left over like we do, you can make sure you just put it in the fridge so the stuff doesn't go bad. Okay, so the timer just went off, and we're gonna check on them. They're looking pretty good, but they still look...
Oh, no, they're done.
Oh, they're done?
We don't like them crispy.
Actually, I don't know why I'm taking that out, but then, Grandma, where do I want to put these? Oh, they don't... Yeah, you can tell I don't really bake. Seriously, where should I put these?
Get both hands in there. There you go. Just put them up on top of the stove.
On top of the stove?
On top of the stove.
Oh, I messed that one up, but that's okay.
They look marvelous.
Alright, so you know we gotta try them.
Oh, they're still warm. Gotta have good cold milk.
I don't like milk. My grandma's having milk.
Ooh.
Cookie cheers.
Oh, cookie cheers. Mm-mm. You make good cookies.
They're super good.
Mm.
You guys should totally try this. There's definitely plenty of chocolate chips, even though you have to eat some first out of the bag.
It's a rule.
It's a rule if you bake cookies. So good. I'll put the recipe in the description so you guys can look at it and follow it if you want. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.